In today's world, people are still fighting for their basic human rights and to feel safe and receive justice with the inhumane treatment people of their minority groups receive. Human rights are rights given to all human beings regardless of race, nationality, ethnicity, language, religion, or any other status. These are moral principles that illustrate certain standards of human behavior. Protected by law, these rights can be used anywhere at any time. Human rights is an important issue because in today's society, people still face discrimination.
I want you to know that your lives matter, that your dreams matter, and there is a change in mindset that's taking place, a greater recognition that we can do better.
A few Black people in a place, I often felt alone, I often felt isolated, I often felt like the things that were happening to me, the things I was experiencing were only happening to me and that nobody else could relate. But the fact of the matter is that once I found a community of people who maybe didn't have exactly the same experience as me, but certainly could relate to feeling alone and feeling isolated and looking for people that they could connect with, that is actually where power lies. And if we take that to look at what's happening in this country right now, I think the same is true.
Freedom of speech is one of the many basic human rights we have. Many protests have been taking place in our very own country, state, and even city. People are using their voice to stand up against racial discrimination, their own political views, and the rights of others who aren't able to speak up just yet. We are so lucky that we have rights that we are able to use to make a difference, unlike other countries who don't allow their citizens to voice their own opinions.
For a time, Beijing inched toward greater liberty and respect for human rights. But in recent years, China has taken a sharp U-turn toward control and oppression of its own people. Beijing is also cracking down on Buddhism. Over the past decade, more than 150 Tibetan Buddhist monks have lit themselves on fire to protest China's repression of their beliefs and their culture. And in Xinjiang, the Communist Party has imprisoned as many as 1 million Muslim Uyghurs in government camps.
In the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, it states that Article 16 protects the right of men and women of marriageable age to marry without any limitations due to race, nationality, religion, or gender, and are able to start a family. Marrying and loving whom you want is a right every citizen should have, and no one should feel that they have to hide who they are. In 2016, just 6 years ago, gay marriage became legal in all 50 states.
I am absolutely comfortable with the fact that men marrying men, women marrying women, and heterosexual men and women marrying men are entitled to the same exact rights, all the civil rights, all the civil liberties. And quite frankly, I don't see much of a distinction beyond that.
While a majority of people are in favor of being granted their basic human rights, many believe that the people shouldn't have a say in things such as the government, voting, and jobs. And they also believe that they shouldn't be protesting and they should do what they are told. This could also be known as a dictatorship. Many also believe it was better when women stayed home and did the housework, while men went and made money for the family. This is a violation of human rights because this would mean women aren't allowed to work and they don't have the same rights men do.
For a long time in the future if he didn't change his opinion. But the suffragists, led by Alice Paul, were the first United States citizens ever to protest in front of the White House. And they started in 1917.
As you can see, human rights plays a big role in our lives, and they're important to be aware of and not take them for granted because there are people who are suffering and people who don't have the same privileges you and I have. And there are also people who have fought and died for us to have these rights. Many people are dying and getting killed all over the world just because of who they are and things they cannot control. This is a big issue that needs to be taken into account and be solved because no one deserves the inhumane treatment and everyone deserves to be treated equally. As Nelson Mandela once said, no one is born hating another person because of their skin color or their background or their religion.